Caribbean Medical.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the business community says the Grand Lucayan Resort must be given urgent attention. Also, vendors are adamant that business has been far too slow for far too long. And the search is on for a missing jet ski rider in Abaco. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Jamila Mizik. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news, the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce says the relaunch and sale of the Grand Lucayan Hotel property is key to survival of the economy. A heads of agreement was signed for the purchase of the property more than a year ago, but a deal has not yet been sealed. Tonight, the leader of the business community says the future of that hotel property must be given special attention. The Davis-led administration, outlining in its blueprint for change, plans to return the country's tourism product to pre-COVID levels by harnessing existing markets. For Grand Bahama, this includes the redevelopment of the Grand Bahama International Airport, as well as the sale and redevelopment of the popular Grand Lucayan Hotel property. President of the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce, Greg LaRota, says despite the Davis administration's being newly elected to office, the Grand Lucayan should be viewed as a matter of urgency.
To see if the deal can be closed with the current potential buyers. And I believe it's something that we don't need to see drag out even further. So at some point, I believe the government has to take a position that if the deal is not closed by a certain time, we move on to maybe another potential buyer.
LaRota adding that the government should do whatever it takes to move that development forward.
If it takes separating the purchase of the hotel from the development in the harbor to get something moving, then I think that option needs to be looked at as well. But I believe that they would approach it with some level of urgency. That's my hope. If we can separate, instead of packaging the harbor development with the sale of the hotel, if we can separate those and progress forward, the one that is probably ready to progress forward, then I think that option should be looked at. But definitely we should have persons focused on just getting that deal across the goal line as soon as possible.
The GB Chamber president says when it comes to revitalizing and bringing back the economy to pre-Dorian and pre-COVID levels, the community at large will benefit if the property is sold and redeveloped.
Of course, you're talking about jobs, immediately more people going back to work. If you talk about jump-starting the economy of Grand Bahama, when we talk about the airport, getting to where we have a acceptable, I guess, or more modern, well-equipped airport to increase airlift to Grand Bahama. Well, when you increase airlift, the persons need someplace to stay. Right now, we have a shortage of rooms on Grand Bahama.
Now, as it relates to Grand Bahama, the government also expressing their commitment to build a new hospital, promote Grand Bahama to harness the power of the maritime industry, develop the Grand Bahama International Airport, and implement immediate relief measures on the island. It has been dubbed the shopping and entertainment mecca of the island, but for years now, many would say that the Port Lucayan marketplace has been losing its appeal to the international market. Our Megan Shepherd spoke to vendors who say they are hopeful for better days to come.
The straw market has been a staple in the Bahamian culture for decades. On most islands, it is one of the must-see locations for tourists visiting the country. But here on Grand Bahama, vendors in the Port Lucayan marketplace say business has been far too slow for far too long.
Things haven't changed much since the pandemic, and I normally I don't come to work. I come to work like only when the big cruise ships in. I don't come to work when classic in because they only bring so much people, and then the people have to share around. But
one or two taxis come in, but we don't normally see them because they take them someplace else, like Tino Beach or where. But it's been very slow.
I'm looking for the government to help the vendors, the taxi drivers, because we was hurting for too long. We need help here in Grand Bahama and in the straw market. We as vendors, we come out here some days, we don't make $1.
I've been out here for like 17 weeks now, and to be honest with you, out of 17 weeks, we had like about, let's say, 4 good days.
It's still slow, but I believe they're going to get it up and running very soon. So I'm ready to make some real money because it's been down too long. Lockdown, lock up.
Taxi driver Ricardo Richardson adding that Port Lucayan is not the only tourist spot that is being affected.
As far as the harbor is concerned, it's very slow. Last month, American Eagle, they took off 2 flights. Bahamas Air is taking off 1 flight. And they won't put it back on. They say by sometime the end of this month or something, all the flights would be in. So we're hoping that things pick up.
And as to what they believe would help boost the local economy,
Grand Bahamians know about working. We work hard for what we want, so we're not looking for no one to give us anything. As long as you put the jobs in places, young children graduating out of school, they need jobs and stuff, so that's all we're looking for, jobs.
But we just need more tourism and open the hotel. We don't have no hotel, we don't have no hospital, and we don't have no airport. So if we get the airport open up, we will have more tourists come here.
Right now we need some ships to come in, and we need planes to come in. We need overnighters in the hotels so the vendors and the taxi drivers could make some money. We need money. And the casino needs to open.
We had 2 casinos here at one time. Now we don't have any. All of that, that's basically, and even some of our golf courses, even our golfers aren't coming back anymore. So we need all of it. We just need somebody to really, get Grand Bahama together.
Definitely we will need more entertainment. Entertainment is big here, and we have a lot of talented Bahamians. So for me, I'm like, what are they doing? They need to wake up.
and despite the current dismal conditions, the vendors are optimistic. They say they will continue to keep the island in prayer and are looking forward to the Davis administration fulfilling their promises and commitments to Bahamians.
All I could do is hope and pray and trust God. And for what they say they're going to do, I just got to wait to see and hope and pray, live to see it. Okay, for the glory days to come back to Grand Bahama.
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like it's a new day done, and I feel happy because I feel in my heart something's going to be done.
Megan Shepherd, ZNS Network News.
Since last month, many of the water distribution depots on Grand Bahama Island has increased their prices on the sale of water and refills. We visited a number of depots throughout the city of Freeport to find out what was the reason behind the increase.
Over at Sunrise Drinking Water Depot, located near the Mactown area, Business owner Frank Higgins says the price increase on drinking water is in part due to global and domestic supply chain.
When we started off, they have the resin, which makes the bottles. They went up on the cost of that. And of course, you had a situation with that. You also had a situation with the COVID-19, the cost of getting the bottles from China to the States to the Bahamas. You know, all of those costs were reflected into the increase that we had to put to our customers. And everything's just gone up. You know, I mean, you just check around the world, everything's gone. Food prices going up, and so we're in the midst of all of the same situation.
1 gallon of water is now priced at $1.25 compared to $1 a few weeks ago. 5-gallon refills are now being offered at $3, which is a 50-cent increase from its usual price of $2.50.
Since we went up on our bottles wholesale, we've noticed, you know, anything that's cheaper, it tends to go faster. Because there are some people, you know, they hadn't changed their price, but we had to. In order for us to make a profit, we had to go up on our bars. And we have a special we're going to be running the month of, October through 14th through December 31st to wholesalers at a special price. And we're going to be giving that to them sometime this week, you know, because we know, you know, our water normally moves like crazy. But we do know the price increase has affected people.
The Full Oasis Water Center on Polaris Drive, Carvel Beach, has raised their prices as well. According to owner Sandra Roberts, the increase in price had to do with supplies.
We have to bring our supplies in, and the cost of it has gone up tremendously. And so therefore, even just the maintenance of our business, to keep it up to a certain standard for our customers, to keeping the water nice and tasty, we had to go up on the prices.
Roberts admits that the decision to increase their prices has somewhat affected sales.
Some of them, they are complaining about the prices, but then some again, they just come and get the water simply because the water is good.
Now, we did speak to some customers at the water stations about the uptick in water prices who wanted to remain anonymous. They were not thrilled with the increase in prices. However, they acknowledge that the drinking water is essential, and they are hoping that further increases won't be implemented anytime soon. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, the search continues in waters of Abaco for a man who went missing while operating a jet ski. We get the details from Press Officer ASP Stephen Roll.
On Wednesday, the 6th of October, shortly before 7 p.m., the police at Marsh Harbor Police Station received a report of a group of young men out at sea were testing a jet ski. And upon their arrival to land, they would have noticed one of the males were not along with them. The males, being concerned, would return to the area of Browns Bay in the Marsh Harbor area and would have discovered a jet ski, a pair of shoes, and socks on that mentioned key. They would have made a search of the key and the surrounding area for their friend, and they were able to locate him. Chief Superintendent Miners and his team in the Abaco, along with the Basra and other available units, are assisting with the search of the missing male. At this point, the police are still investigating this matter, and a search have not been called off at this point. Foul play is not suspected at this point. It is only reported as a missing person, and that's what it is at this point until the police can prove otherwise.
This just in, police say the missing Abaco man is 30-year-old Rashard Cooper of Dundas Town, Abaco. He was last seen in the area of Dundas Point, Abaco on a jet ski. As you heard, police say foul play is not suspected at this time, and the search continues. Meanwhile, adverse weather conditions expected to affect the northern Bahamas this weekend, straight into the National Heroes holiday. According to weather reports, a prefrontal trough ahead of a cold front over South Florida will move into the vicinity of the northwest Bahamas on Saturday, resulting in unsettled weather over the northwest and central islands of the Bahamas through Sunday. Chief meteorologist at the Freeport Weather Office, Orson Nixon, gives an outlook at this weekend's weather forecast.
Diffuse frontal boundary that was stalled just to the northwest of us, along with a upper level trough. That will start to create some activity across our area. Now, in this system, we are expecting to have numerous showers and one of these kind of thunderstorms. Now, some of these thunderstorms are going to be very strong to severe.
He says with all the rain expected to occur over the entire weekend into Monday, some flooding can also be expected.
Residents that reside in low-lying areas, they should start to take some precaution to avoid any loss of property and items in the midst of any flooding in their area. And also in the midst of this, residents should also be cautious of the potential brief tornadoes and water spout activities occurring. And as Monday progresses, the showers and storms will start to diminish as we get into Monday night, Tuesday morning.
More COVID deaths to report. The Ministry of Health's daily dashboard showing 4 additional deaths, all in New Providence, all occurring on September 20th and 21st. And these deaths were previously under investigation, are now confirmed as COVID deaths. Meantime, 62 new cases being reported, 48 in New Providence, 2 in Grand Bahama, 1 in Abaco, and 11 in Inagua. Hospitalized cases are 152, 15 are on Grand Bahama, including 3 in ICU. The death count is at 590, with 58 cases under investigation. Stay with us, there's more news right after this break.
Now. For your large and small generators, propane and butane stoves, LED flashlights, fuel canisters, coolers, batteries, gas and electric chainsaws, cooking supplies, tarps, matches, duct tape, and more.
Transparency, honesty,
and accountability are what you deserve.
You deserve a smarter grid.
With meters that show you where your energy is going.
A modernized grid that share all the data and allow us to proactively address the issues. A resilient grid that notifies us the instant your service is disrupted. You deserve the highest standard of service.
With a smarter grid and modern infrastructure.
This is why advanced metering infrastructure
is here.
Mother Nature has always been my inspiration. There's magic in every seashell and in the curve of every majestic tree. I design wearable arts. Jewelry should tell a story, your story. My clients love being able to choose their charms and beads, creating their own unique design. It's personal, so it's priceless. We all have our individual style. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. So why fit in when you're designed to stand out? I'm Tanisha Carey, your designer. Welcome to Baja Gala.
Home Design Center is your one-stop shop for all your home and office needs. Whether you're just completing your new home, redecorating your office, or remodeling moms and dads, our chic interior designers are able to cater to any look and need. Located at the Gold Rock Complex, Freeport, visit our 20,000 square foot showroom and find exactly what you've been looking for. Call us today at 351-6561 and speak with one of our furniture experts. Home Design Center. Make your house a home.
That's what I told her. Bring the winding thing here. This is Rick and Script, so hey, wind and go down low.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The blood bank is always in need of that life-saving commodity, and it remains essential to help save lives and support the efforts of those on the front line of the pandemic. But some have questioned whether recently vaccinated persons should be allowed to give blood. Well, our Megan Shepherd put that question to medical officials. Here's that report.
It has become commonplace in a time of need. Flyers circulating on social media requesting blood donations for various surgical and life-saving procedures. While with the COVID-19 virus and vaccinations topping the list of health concerns recently, some persons in need have been requesting blood donations, but specifically from unvaccinated persons. Mandy Pettikin, Clinical Director for Pathology and Laboratory Services, says that as it stands, there is no evidence that it is unsafe to receive blood from a vaccinated individual.
We do it at 14 days post first or second dose. So once that has happened, then persons, once they're feeling well and meet all the other eligibility requirements, they'll be okay to donate blood. So we also refer to the guidelines and protocols put out by the WHO and the FDA, CDC. We look at them and we try our best to make sure that they fit our community, our country's interest, and what suits our community.
And as to why individuals may request to receive blood from an unvaccinated individual?
Some of them say it's a miscommunication, and others say, well, there's some misinformation or concerns that they have. Okay, the person is vaccinated. How is this going to affect me? What is the risk? Say if someone who might be pregnant and they may need a transfusion. So it's like, okay, how is this going to affect me long term? How might it affect my baby? So right now, as it stands, there are no risks based on the studies that have been released to date. But it's ongoing. Information is always forthcoming, and we have to keep abreast of the current information, and we adapt accordingly. But as it stands right now, based on the studies that are out there, there is no risk.
Now, if you do receive blood from a vaccinated individual, Pettikin says that there is no evidence to show any long-term risks that the community should be concerned about.
During that window period where the levels are starting to die back down, then the transmissibility concern of having an antibody volume or a significant titer should not be a major concern. And even if it is, it's a very small amount, right? But we know that they're finding antibodies in, say, for instance, cord blood of the vaccinated mother, right? And so, but how does that impact, and it's also found in breast milk, so persons who might be breastfeeding. But, they're looking to see, is it beneficial, and how is it beneficial to the baby, this passive immunity that's coming across with the antibodies that may be found in it. But studies are still ongoing.
Now, Dr. Pettikin notes that there has been challenges in the past as it relates to building a strong donor pool. To this end, she says that they are not in a position to discriminate against vaccinated donors.
With our pool being small, it's hard to not accept or not take blood from persons who are vaccinated. So we are not in a position to discourage that, right? And we're not in a position to say, oh, we're separating unvaccinated blood from vaccinated blood. The need is there, the demand is there. Every day the requests for blood is there. And persons who are affected by it know the calls come, the physicians tell their loved ones, the patient, you need to schedule to come to the lab to donate blood. And so, it's hard to take that discriminatory stance to say, oh, we're not going to take blood from this person. When your loved one is in the need of blood and it's an emergency, we're going to do our best to make sure they get that blood that they need to save their life.
Now, if a person is in need of blood and refuses the blood of a vaccinated individual, well, Pettikin says that is the choice of the recipient.
Well, there is a consent form process that the physicians present to the patient, or depending on the status of the patient, their next of kin who may have to sign on their behalf. So if that is the situation, then they would be accepting the responsibility if they're refusing, like, okay, your loved one needs blood or you need blood. And if they so choose to refuse, they will sign a form that they refuse to accept blood and blood products. So that's been in place for a long time.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
And now it's time for your weekend sports. Here is Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports on a Friday. Now, a number of Grand Bahamian athletes will be in action on the international scene this weekend. Let's kick this one off with soccer. In women's soccer, sophomore Elon Johnson and the Mitchell College playing at the Division III level will take on Northern Vermont Linden this weekend. So far on the year, our Mitchell College team playing in the New England Collegiate Conference is 3-6. In 10 games so far, Johnson has scored 8 goals on 26 shots. Also, Mikael Yada playing at the NAIA level for the Grayson University will host Mid-American Nazarene University at home. A Grayson squad is looking to get back into the win column after dropping 3 consecutive games on the road. Not to be left out, Gabrielle Sims, freshman midfielder at Kansas City University, and her team will look to continue their win streak in conference play. Her Lady Rose squad will return to Kansas to host South Dakota State before they take on South Dakota on Sunday. Switching gears now in tennis, the Bahamas Junior National Under-12 tennis team had a good showing recently in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Grand Bahamians Tatiana Madu and Kayla Fox did not disappoint.
Tatiana Madu did compete in that tournament, and overall the team from the Bahamas placed second in that event, and they're also heading to Mexico in November to compete in the finals. So I can say that we're very, very proud of Tatiana Madu. Not only was Tatiana Madu in that event, but there's another junior that we had in that event, and her name is Kayla Fox. Although she recently relocated to Florida, we can say congratulations to both of them. They did excellent.
And finally, in sports, professional basketball player and national team standout Kentwan Smith is once again making a splash on the pro ranks in Europe. The 6'8" slasher is currently in France playing in the French Division II League, where his team is off to a quick 4-0 start on the season. They are scheduled to play again this weekend. We will have an update next week on that game. That's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some wear hard hats, steel-toe boots, and climbing belts. They don't prowl the streets at night looking for the bad boys. They're the good guys, saving us during our darkest hours, putting their lives on the line every day to make ours brighter. They're the ones you call because you know they'll be there every time. It's not easy being a hero. Sometimes they're painted as the villain. But if there's one thing all heroes have in common, is that they don't give up. They're always fair, focused on helping those in need. Because for those heroes, it's more than a job, it's a duty. Some people try to be heroes, others just are. At Grand Bahama Power Company, we are proud to know a few heroes, always there for you.
The Ministry of Health is working to ensure the safety of the Bahamian people. Help us minimize the risk that coronavirus poses to citizens, residents, and visitors by following these 5 easy steps. Step 1. Wet your hands with clean water, apply soap and lather for 20 seconds by rubbing them together. Include the top of your hands between your fingers and under your fingernails. Rinse your hands under clean water, then dry them with a paper towel or air dry them. Remember to wash your hands before and after eating, preparing a meal, changing a diaper, or caring for the sick, and always after using the bathroom, touching money, shaking hands, or taking out the trash. Step 2. Cough and sneeze in your elbow or upper sleeve, not in your hands, not in the air. Or you can cover your nose and mouth with a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Put your used tissue in the trash bin when you're finished. Remember to wash your hands with soap and clean water after you cough or sneeze. Also, remember never to spit on the ground, roads, or in open spaces. Step 3. Ensure that raw meat is properly handled and cooked thoroughly. Step 4. Avoid sharing drinking glasses, eating utensils like spoons and forks, or sharing personal items such as toothbrushes and towels. Germs can live on surfaces we touch, so wipe and disinfect surfaces where germs can live, and keep your surroundings clean. Step 5. Avoid close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness, such as coughing or sneezing. Should you or anyone you know feel that you have been exposed to the coronavirus, contact the surveillance unit of the Ministry of Health immediately. To reach us, call 502-4776, 502-4790, or 502-4737. We want Bahamians and those that live with and visit us to remain safe from the coronavirus. To do this, we need the help of each and every one of you to follow the simple steps we have shared. Let's stay safe, Bahamas.
So put me together, break me apart again. No doubt about
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Raquel McKinney, you are our Facebook friend today. Thank you for your loyal support. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Jamila Missick. Thank you so much for joining us. The Bahamas Tonight continues. Coming up in the national report, the new Minister of Health and Wellness continuing his tour of healthcare facilities in the country. Also, the government's looking to restore in-person lessons as soon as possible. And the new Minister for Broadcasting says plans are on the drawing board for the national television and radio station.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Superfast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Jamila Missick. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news, new growing COVID-19 cases in Inagua prompting a visit from the country's health chief. The new Minister of Health and Wellness continuing his tour of the healthcare facilities in the country. The harmful COVID-19 crisis prompting health officials to visit Inagua's premier healthcare facility. Desmond Saunders has the first in a series of reports of the minister's trek in the southern Bahamas.
Health officials on the ground touring several healthcare facilities in the southern Bahamas. Minister of Health, Honorable Michael Darville, led a high-team delegation making several stops addressing the pertinent needs of residents. Health officials also keeping a close eye on the continuing surge of COVID-19 cases in the southern Bahamas. The Ministry of Health's first stop, the Inagua Health Clinic.
In the last few weeks that there have been some cases of COVID. We are on top of it, and those individuals who are tested positive are presently in isolation. The individuals who have been exposed are presently in quarantine. And according to our surveillance unit, we are certain and we believe that we have the cluster under control so that we can prevent community or person-to-person spread. We have about 3 to 4 people who are presently in New Providence, who are receiving emergency medical services. I just came from our COVID unit here at the clinic, and there is a case, and there's 1 or 2 other suspected cases. The surveillance unit is aware of it, and we presently have them in isolation. They are stable, but there's 1 case here where there is an issue with the oxygen saturation. They are receiving high flow oxygen, and the program and the plan is in place to airlift them to the capital. And so from what we have gathered from our surveillance unit, all of the cases that have tested positive are in isolation, and all of the contact tracing associated with those cases are presently in quarantine.
The spike in COVID-19 cases on Inagua, a major concern for the new health minister and his team. Since the start of the pandemic, over 30 COVID-19 cases have been recorded on that southern island.
Well, I'd like to make it very clear, the influx of immigrants was not the vector. We've learned from contact tracing, it has to do with individuals traveling to the capital, and the healthcare protocols and protection probably was not in place. And so there are imported cases from individuals traveling to New Providence or Grand Bahama and coming back into Inagua. I'd like to say to the residents of Inagua, the public health protocols are our best tools for defense. It's important to keep your masks on, make sure we do not gather in large clusters of individuals, and we have to make sure that we do the sanitation and social distancing.
Vaccination efforts have been ramped up on the island. Residents could be seen in droves lining up to take the jab. There are also efforts to introduce additional COVID-19 fighting measures.
Well, you know, Inagua is way in the south, and the transportation of blood samples as well as the movement of essential gases into Inagua is complicated. We need to make sure that we have adequate supply of oxygen. We need to make sure we have adequate supplies of protective medical equipment. We need to make sure we have adequate supplies of medication. In the event that we do have cases that are COVID, and there is some indication that there could be some decompensation, we can initiate the emergency services necessary on the island prior to airlifting that patient to the capital.
Minister of State for Education Zane Lightbourne also on hand, monitoring the situation for thousands of Inagua students on the online learning platform. He and the new Member of Parliament for Michael hoping to change things around for the better.
Working very closely with the Ministry of Education to assess our healthcare facilities to ensure that if we implement a hybrid model for our kids going back to school, the Ministry of Health along with the services here in Inagua is able to handle any potential case should we do have an infection in our school population.
Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
In the last week, nearly 1.2 million COVID-19 cases and 24,000 COVID-related deaths were reported in the Americas. And while cases are down in the United States and Canada, Mexico is reporting a jump in new infections. Still, officials will tell you that national data does not tell the whole story, as local trends remain worrisome.
Across the Caribbean, infections are going down overall, although Cuba and Bermuda continue to report high rates of new infections. And Barbados saw cases increase by nearly 75% over the last week. In Central America, while cases are decreasing throughout the subregion, Costa Rica continues to see high rates of hospitalization and ICU bed use.
Chile also seeing a jump in new cases, a trend said to be primarily driven by outbreaks in urban centers. All things considered, PAHO Director Dr. Carissa Etienne says this is exactly why governments need to keep a close eye on local trends due impact to differences in vaccinations.
This more localized approach will be key to keeping outbreaks under control. Today, just 37% of people in Latin America and the Caribbean have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. As 7 countries and territories in the Americas have vaccinated more than 70% of their populations, just as many have yet to vaccinate 20% of their populations. Jamaica, Nicaragua, and Haiti have yet to reach even 10% coverage. We must focus our attention to close this gap as quickly as possible.
Just this past week, 875,000 doses arrived in Latin America countries and the Caribbean, but Edian continues to stress that this is still not enough to protect everyone. PAHO then continues to urge countries with surplus doses to share with others.
Let me assure you that PAHO is doing everything it can to accelerate vaccinations in the Americas, from delivering COVAX doses to supporting donations, to purchasing vaccines on behalf of our region, and establishing a platform to ramp up vaccine manufacturing in our region.
After months on end of hybrid learning, the government's looking to change that situation and restore in-person lessons as soon as possible. That announcement coming during the speech from the throne.
My government will also establish programs for monitoring and assisting high school dropouts so that immediate action is taken to ensure they continue to contribute to society as productive citizens. My government will introduce measures to expand the curriculum offerings and incorporate educational models that build character, promote self-esteem, foster good citizenship for a deeper understanding and appreciation of our history.
Further focus on the youth calls for creating programs to tackle mental health, a lack of self-confidence and identity, excessive social media consumption, and national identity and unity.
My government would create a national first job program that allows young people between the age of 16 to 25 to gain a one-year government subsidized placement in a field of national priority, including the new economies and trade. My government will launch the Community Youth Service and offer stipends for young Bahamians to provide service to NGOs and community groups. This can build a vital bridge between school and the job market.
Meantime, no decision has been made as yet on the future of the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, ZNS, and the direction in which it will be headed. Minister of State in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Miles Lorota, who has responsibility for ZNS, said plans are on the drawing board for the national television and radio station.
I am awaiting the appointment of the new board and the executives at the Broadcasting Corporation. And we'll sit down and talk with them, see what they have on the drawing boards, and then we'll get together with my cabinet colleagues and chart the way forward.
For the first time in Bahamian history, 10 women will simultaneously enter the halls of either the House of Assembly or the Senate. On Wednesday, during the official opening of Parliament, the 10 women took the oath of allegiance and oath of qualification before taking their seats in the chambers. First Lady and spouse of the Prime Minister, Anne-Marie Davis, believes that this historic achievement brought the country one step closer in the fight for gender equality.
Well, my dear, I am elated. I am so happy beyond measure about having 7 females elected who ran, all elected, to the House of Assembly, and for having a president of the Senate, another female. I'm just totally elated. I wish we would have had more running in the election, but I think we have to work on that as a party. We have to work on our women's branch. I think we'll work more to get more women to come through the branch and to prepare them to enter politics, because there's still a fear of a lot of women who say that they work hard to study and to accomplish themselves, and politics is much too dirty to enter. And so there's still that going on, and we have to try to remove that stigma, and we have to make that change to show that we're serious about doing the type of image that we want the women to portray in our House of Assembly and in the Senate.
The Free National Movement will hold its one-day convention on November 27th, with the ongoing leadership issue expected to be settled at that time. The convention also comes amid speculation that former Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, will vie for party leader once again. This after the FNM was defeated at the polls in the September 16th general elections, winning 7 out of the 39 seats in the House of Assembly. The Bahamas Tonight, the national report coming to you live from Freeport, Grants, Bahama, will be back in a moment.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sunoil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Welcome to a world where hope is still loud, where dreams are still relevant, and determination has no substitute. Welcome to a nation where the people are still warm, resilient, and innovative. And Commonwealth Bank is at the center of it all, giving innovation and progress an extra push for more than 60 years. We're here for Bahamians because we are Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking services.
Across the Bahamas, we're more connected than ever before as we upgrade and expand our network, elevating your connection with BTC Superfast Fiber Internet. More people can access the best high-speed internet on our upgraded all-fiber optic network, providing you with a better experience working remotely, learning virtually, accessing more from home, and connecting with more opportunities. Visit our website or any store to upgrade to our super-fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
KFC Saucy Wings gives you the choice. A precisely calculated chicken-to-sauce ratio for that perfect wing experience. Or a totally wild, completely coated sauce adventure that transcends traditional flavor boundaries. Whatever your choice, get sauced with KFC Saucy Wings for the perfect amount of flavor. Saucy Wings at KFC Nassau. So good.
This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, on hand for a plaque exchange ceremony on board the Virgin Voyages Scarlet Lady yesterday. The Tourism Minister joined President and CEO of Virgin Voyages, Tom McAlpin, as well as Captain Giovanna Schifano, Director General of Tourism, Joy Jiberlu, in a brief ceremony. The cruise liner has home ports of Miami and San Juan. Meantime, faculty and students at Government High School today celebrated a season of success, highlighting a theme, engaged and empowered, excelling amidst adversity. A recognition ceremony awarding students for the past academic year was held. Carla Palmer reports.
The COVID-19 pandemic may have changed school operations throughout the Bahamas, but it has not stopped the pursuit of educational achievements by some students, specifically those at the Government High School. More than 150 of them were recognized in a virtual drive-by ceremony. Government High School principal is Miss Eloise Wims.
Why should we celebrate the success of our students? We celebrate their accomplishments because it helps to build their confidence, motivate, and inspire them to follow their dreams. Despite the challenges of navigating through the COVID-19 pandemic and the numerous technological changes and learning platforms, our students remained focused. So today, we celebrate.
The students' individual achievements have also resulted in the school's overall academic standing improving considerably, which was noted. Minister of Education, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, made public these facts.
The students of Government High School have improved by 15% on the A to C passes in the 2021 BBC examination. 36 BGCSE students are being awarded for having received A to C passes in the BGCSE examinations. The students of Government High School, Magic City, have improved by 20% on A to C passes in school-based examinations for 2020-2021 academic year. Hold on now. 3 male students, 3 young men in this country are tied to the highest overall GPA of 3.70. Hold on. The most outstanding student in national examinations is an 11th grader, Raven Kemp.
The students were challenged to continue to persevere in the ongoing pursuit of excellence. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
With this being Youth Month, the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture celebrating a number of initiatives geared at empowering young people to compete with their counterparts here or abroad.
Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Maru-Keith Boleg, visiting the National Art Gallery on Friday, noting a number of celebrations, but also a number of adjustments he intends to make here and throughout his ministry.
Walking around here, it's amazing. It's like reading a novel without words. It's amazing how these artisans can express themselves through these paintings. And I believe as Bahamian artisans, more of the public and Bahamian public needs to come and see what is out there.
The tour, organized by senior staff at the gallery, showcasing a number of projects that have kept the facility in full function in recent months. Interim Executive Director Lawrence Bascom explains.
We have several exhibitions going on. One downstairs is a permanent exhibition that comes from the National Collection that's held by the National Art Gallery. And then 2 upstairs. This one here that I'm standing in front of that's called Floating Rib. And across the way in the ballroom is Inherit the Earth, that's by Lynn Perotti.
Minister Boleg says he hopes to increase art education within schools through partnerships with the Ministry of Education.
Especially in the public school systems, to come and join and see what it's like so they can broaden their horizon as it relates to them painting.
The minister also noting a number of initiatives as his ministry celebrates Youth Month.
One in particular, to Be Inspired, where young persons can come and apply for grants if they want to be their own boss.
Minister Boleg also giving an update on Junkanoo celebrations of the future.
I've already met with some persons in the Junkanoo arena who has brought some ideas and ideology what we should look at for the future as relates to when we get in a situation such as COVID now, because they're still on the drawing board, and once we think that those ideas are perfect in this environment, then who knows, you will see them in the short order.
Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Well, Fusion Superplex was the place to be last night. If you are a fan of the James Bond film series or just felt like dressing up and donating to a good cause, as the Rotary Club of East Nassau and its satellite club, Rotary East Nassau After Dark, hosted a charity to premiere benefit in order to raise some $25,000 for its foundation. The East Nassau Rotary Club Charitable Trust and its community, as well as community service projects. Former past district governor of the Rotary Club of East Nassau, Lindsay Cancino, tells us more.
This time is threefold. Normally it is twofold. We have always done the movie premieres to benefit the Rotary Foundation and its programs, but also the local East Nassau Foundation, which focuses on scholarships for worthwhile Bahamians who may otherwise not be able to go away or even to go to UB. And this time we've added the community service programs of our new satellite club, Rotary After Dark, better known as RAD, which Kristen is the current chair of, and is a great new addition to the Rotary family. So those 3 areas will get the proceeds split 3 ways between them.
And for Chairman of the Rotary Club of East Nassau After Dark, Kristen Duncombe, the event served as opportunity for new members to socialize with older ones.
For Rotary, a major part of not only the community service and giving back is fellowship. And with the pandemic being 2 years long, this was the first time a lot of our Rotary members had the opportunity to meet new members as well as old members getting to see each other again together for the first time in a 2-year span, because our meetings have been virtual and everything this whole time. So last night was big, not only for the fundraising aspect, but also for the fellowship aspect of the club.
The National Report will be back in a moment.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
Hurricane Hole Marina is an iconic destination for yachts cruising the Bahamas. With an ideal location, the Super Yacht Marina at Paradise Landing is in a class by itself.
The overall project is a $250 million project. It's a mixed-use development that consists of retail, office, and residential, as well as probably the largest super yacht marina in the Caribbean. Definitely the largest super yacht marina in the Bahamas.
The Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, expressed his excitement for the Hurricane Hole Marina Super Yacht Project.
I think this is fantastic. I'm happy to be here celebrating this achievement so far. I know it's not yet complete, but it's an achievement nonetheless to sturdy group. I think it's noteworthy that during a difficult pandemic where almost everything stopped in the country, this project continued. This is the type of spark that we need to see even more and more in our country. I want to assure the investment community, the business community, that our new government is very business friendly, very investment focused, and we recognize to build and grow our country, we need projects like this one.
For more updates on the luxurious Hurricane Hole Marina, visit paradiselanding.com. I'm Alexis Clark, and this is Tourism Today.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Hey, I just reached. I asked them now because they close in like 5 minutes. Okay, hold on. Oh, sorry. Hi. I heard y'all added more things to pay, like government fees or something.
Yes, sir. We're now accepting payments for Department of Immigration, Department of Labor, and the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
Okay, good. I come to pay a police record and a labor certificate.
Okay, no problem. What's the name?
Uncle Boogaloo.
What's the first name?
Uncle.
And the last?
Boogaloo. You in the system.
Are you paying by cash, sir?
Coins.
Pardon?
Oh, and you could put a couple of them coins on my BPL bill. They just cut me off last night. I don't know what happened. Hey, Uncle, you straight. Yeah, don't forget my horse fish now.
Pay your government fees today at Cash and Go.
Welcome back. Police on the hunt for 58-year-old Brian Thomas Goodrich, also known as Sculla. The number 2 Pompano Court resident has a dark brown complexion and a medium build. If you have any information on his whereabouts, contact the Criminal Investigation Department at 502-9991 or your nearest police station. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal has overturned the conviction and sentence for appellant Lamar Albury. You may recall that Albury was sentenced to 20 years behind bars after a jury convicted him of manslaughter by provocation in the death of Devin Smith back in 2017. Albury appealed on numerous grounds, including that the judge failed to give an adequate direction to the jury relating to his defense or self-defense, which affected the fairness of the trial. After hearing from both sides, the court allowed his appeal, after finding, among other things, that the judge did not seem to focus her mind on the fact that the primary concern expressed by Albury at trial was that he believed the deceased intended to rape him and that he was defending himself. The court also ordered that Albury be given a new trial. And as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all of our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us, there's more news right after the break.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
What I love most about working for the Bahamas Tonight is that we don't only focus on New Providence, we cover the entire Bahamas. We have a team here in the northern Bahamas that is ready to bring you the stories, the people, and the news that matter to you. From point A to Z, from covering hurricanes to elections and everything in between.
Relay, each team member must do his or her part in the race. If one member drops the baton, it impacts all of us. Across all ages, genders, abilities, nationalities, cultures, or religion, we are all on the same team. And we all have a role to play in getting to the finish line to win the race against COVID-19. Don't drop the baton on safety. Wear your mask over your mouth and nose. Keep at least 3 feet distance from others. Do not touch your face. And wash or sanitize your hands often. Together, we will win.
The past is what drives us, but it is no more. In it, we learn valuable lessons about where we came from. The future is what we aspire to, but it is yet to be written. Thinking about it allows us to plan for a better tomorrow. The present is the only thing we possess right now. It is the moment when we rise to the occasion, so that we stand in the beauty and wonder of who we are, where our strength really matters, because our resilience speaks for itself. We plan for where we are today, a strong company, a powerful network, built by the people, for the people. Because we believed in best. Because we lived for the moments. And we delivered. You know what we were. And now you get to see who we are. We are alive.
Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. with double stamps on Sundays. That's super value and quality supermarkets. Devon corned beef, 12 ounce, $2.49. Par Excellence long grain rice, 5 pound, $3.49. Del Monte cut green beans, 15 ounce, 99 cents. Boneless chicken breast, $2.89 per pound. Fresh tomatoes, $1.79 per pound. Take these groceries home in super value tote bags, 2 for $3.
Authorities on the island of Abaco are combing the area for a man who is missing after failing to return to shore following an evening jet ski ride. The man last seen in waters near Dundas Town was reportedly riding inland with a number of fellow jet ski riders when he fell behind the pack. Acquaintances of the missing man then becoming concerned when the Abaco man, said to be in 20s, did not make it back to land. Police press liaison ASP Stephen Roll said it was shortly after 7 on Wednesday when officers received the call, thereby launching a search and rescue mission.
They would have made checks at a key known as Bronx Bay, and where they would have discovered the jet ski, a pair of shoes and socks belonging to the missing male. They made further checks of the surrounding area, and that proved negative. At this point, Chief Superintendent Minus, the officer in charge of the Abaco district, and his team, along with the Bajra and other resources that are available, making checks of that area to locate that missing young man.
Police say the missing Abaco man is 30-year-old Rashard Cooper of Dundas Town, Abaco. He was last seen in the area of Dundas Point, Abaco, on a jet ski. Meanwhile, Minister with responsibility for Family Island Affairs, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, reaffirming his commitment to the growth of the outer islands. His comments coming after taking the oath of allegiance in the House of Assembly on Wednesday. One of the ministry's goals, Sweeting says, is to bridge the gap by making government less Nassau-centric, thereby increasing Family Island involvement. The Minister of Parliament for South and Central Eleuthera beginning a tour of the Bahama Islands under his portfolio less than 2 weeks ago. The first leg of the tour taking the minister to the Isles of Cat Island.
So Family Island Affairs, that we do a Family Island tour to speak with persons not just in Cat Island, but Abaco, Eleuthera, Grand Bahama, and all the Family Islands to really listen at what their concerns are, their needs, and hope to bring resolution to their problems. It's very important as a Family Islander that I understand the need for focus and the need for really addressing their concerns.
The Agriculture Minister also explaining how his ministry plans to address the concerns aired by residents in various Family Islands.
Their main concern was just a renewed focus on duty-free incentives, incentives for the farmers whereby they are able to bring their product to market. And I explained to them that the Department of Agribusiness, which is a part of our Blueprint for Change, would be created to ensure that we are able to help the farmers bring food from, not just food to table, but food to business to help them increase their bottom line as farmers.
It's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Basil.
In our first look at weather outside of our studios, we're under mostly cloudy skies, a temperature at 87 degrees, relative humidity 62%. We have northeast winds at 13 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,017.0 millibars, that's 29.97 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 88 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Grand Torquay, Marsh Harbor at 86 degrees, 86 in the Berry Islands, Allenstown, Bimini, 85 in Harbor Island, Roxani, Lutra at 86, Allenstown, Cat Island, 86 as well. Black Point, Exuma, and Kemp Space, St. Andrews, both reporting 87 degrees. In Fresh Creek, Central Andrews, 86 degrees. 86 also in San Salvador and Rum Key. Georgetown, Exuma, 85 also in Ragged Island, Clarence, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands, Matthewtown, Inagua, 87, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 85 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern islands tonight, the winds are going to be east to southeast at speeds around 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide tonight takes place at 10:04 for the central and southeastern islands. The winds easterly at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet with a moderate chop, so caution flags are up for the boaters in the central and southeastern islands tonight. And then tomorrow, which is Saturday through Sunday, the winds are going to fall off light and variable with flat seas ahead of a frontal system that's heading our way. High tide would take place at 10:34 in the morning with the low tide at 5:01 in the afternoon. Now for the southeast Bahamas, easterly winds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet. Caution flags remain for the southeastern islands right through Sunday. And that's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Thanks, Basil. The National Report will be back in a moment.
You watch them grow and make plans for them even before they're old enough to talk. You spend a lifetime of sacrifice to pave the way for their success and create a tomorrow you too can be proud of. Can you tell who is the investor? At Leno, we believe everyone who has ever put a penny aside for a future dream is an investor. If you're new to investing, Leno's financial experts stand ready to design plans based on your goals. Let's sit down and explore the options one-on-one and see how, together, we can make your dreams come true. Whether considering traditional investments like a new home, car, your own business, security in retirement, or your child's college fund, we take the confusion out of the process and make an investor out of you. Call 396-3225 for an appointment. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Best rate, no debate. Best rate, no debate.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no debate. Best rate, no debate.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Successful parenting through COVID-19. and home with your child for a long time can feel stressful, especially when they misbehave. Children can also feel stressed as their daily routines have changed. Manage negative behavior through creating schedules, planning indoor activities and outdoor activities, giving responsibilities, and rewarding good behavior. All children can be mischievous. You can discipline without yelling or physically harming by giving timeouts, taking away privileges, and even giving chores. It's okay to take a break. Pause for 10 seconds, breathe for 5 seconds, then give a calm response. Listen to your children's feelings and be supportive. Avoid unhealthy behaviors like drinking alcohol, smoking tobacco, or risky sexual behavior. Feeling overwhelmed? Contact our hotline at 819-7652 or any of the numbers that appear on your screen.
During this pandemic, it is our duty to ensure that all citizens, residents, and visitors are adhering to the COVID-19 safety protocols. Every business establishment must
Have distance markers 6 feet apart, indicating where each customer must stand at check-in points. Have a hand sanitizing station visible at the entrance of the store for all customers to sanitize their hands before entering the store.
I am Ambassador Rotary of COVID-19 enforcement. Save a life that may be yours.
This message brought to you by the Ministry of National Security in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Here are your COVID-19 isolation tips. Protecting others while in quarantine or self-isolation. While in quarantine or self-isolation, use safety measures to protect yourself and community from spreading COVID-19. Being in quarantine or self-isolation can make you feel anxious or stressed. Ensure that you take care of your emotions. Physical distancing does not mean socially disconnected. Stay connected with family and friends digitally. Keep a daily routine. Exercise daily, get rest, eat healthy, engage in activities, avoid unhealthy behaviors, and seek information from credible sources. You are not alone. Contact our hotline at 819-7652 or any of the numbers that appear on your screen.
Large beach and pool parties are not ideal in this COVID environment, but keeping just a few friends close while in the water is actually a good idea. So here's another pointer. They say the more the merrier, and when you're planning on spending a day of fun in the water, that might be what you want to do. Swimming with someone else, especially when doing aquatic activities, is a standard safety practice. If you're by yourself and there's an emergency, having someone to call for help or assist is much better than struggling alone.
Swimming with a buddy, not swimming alone, allowing you to have the ability to have somebody with you if you get into trouble. It's nice to be able to go in on a social environment with a buddy and be able to talk and enjoy the environment.
Crystal Darling, ZNS Digital Media.
Self-isolation means taking simple steps to avoid close contact with other people as much as possible, as you would with the seasonal flu. If you've been in close contact with somebody confirmed with COVID-19 or suspect that you have it, self-isolate for 14 days. You can self-isolate by staying indoors and away from family for 14 days. Choose a well-ventilated room with a closed door. Household members should stay in a different room, or if that is not possible, maintain a distance of at least 3 feet. Use a sealed waste basket and double bag your waste before disposal. Limit movement in your house. Stay in your assigned space away from the rest of the household. The caretaker will bring food and anything else you need. Use separate cookery and cutlery. Use a separate bathroom and clean it regularly. Use separate towels, separate cleaning linens, and clothing. If you are in need of care by household members, limit the number of caregivers. Assign one person who is in good health and has minimum risk conditions. Most importantly, remember, do not invite others over. Should you or anyone you know feel that you've been exposed to the coronavirus, contact the COVID-19 hotline at the Ministry of Health immediately. To reach us, call 376-9350, 376-9380, 887-300-2619 or our 24-hour hotline at 502-7382. For more information, visit covid19.gov.bs.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Ministry of Health and this television station.
And now for your final look at the weather, here is Basil Dean.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, the tropics quiet again this evening now with no systems out there, but our satellite pictures showing us a front boundary across northern Florida with some pre-frontal activity just around Lake Okeechobee. That is slipping towards the south and east, and that will be bringing some increasing cloudiness to the northwest Bahamas with showers and thunderstorms developing, particularly over the extreme northwest Bahamas around Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini. They can experience some heavy showers and thunderstorms late tomorrow. Elsewhere, high pressure is beginning to collapse, so we'll see a reduction in our winds with light and variable winds, primarily in the northwestern Bahamas. We'll still have some brisk winds in the southeast Bahamas, around 12 to 18 knots, so small craft should still exercise caution in the southeast Bahamas. Our forecast for the night calls for increasing clouds, 75 degrees for the low temperature, and tomorrow those clouds will continue to increase with showers developing in the evening and nighttime hours. They could be heavy at times, as we said, particularly in the extreme northwestern parts of the country. 85 degrees for your high temperature tomorrow, and the extended weather forecast, mid-80s during the daytime, showers, as we said, most of the day on Saturday. Sunday, we should have some residual showers, particularly in the morning. In the afternoon, things should start to clear up a bit, and that trend will continue into the early part of next week. And just before I close out, a special shout out to Suzanne Simmons, her and the Roadmasters Club. They will be participating in a virtual Boston Marathon over the weekend, so we want to wish them all the best.
That does it for the Bahamas tonight. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your #1 news and information network. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Jamila Mizik. Thanks for watching and good night.
Mm-hmm.
Breast cancer is the leading cause of cancer deaths in the Bahamas and in Bahamian women. At present, we are unable to prevent breast cancer, but performing screening mammograms can detect breast cancer at its earliest when there are no symptoms and when it is more likely to be treated successfully. All women should have a primary health care provider who is aware of their medical history, family history, and risk factors. Women 40 to 45 years can choose whether to start screening in consultation with their physician. All women 45 to 54 years should have an annual mammogram. Women older than 55 years can have a yearly mammogram or choose to have one every 2 years. Monthly breast self-exams in conjunction with the mammogram can increase the odds of early detection. Be proactive about your health.
Bahamas is a very beautiful place.
We have sandy beaches and clear waters. We have a lot of tourists coming here.
We like to dance and make music.
The Bahamas is a chain of islands surrounded by water. It is about 60 miles from Florida. We live on Andros Island.
One of the most beautiful treasures we have in the Bahamas is a coral reef. Some people call it the jewel of the Bahamas.
A coral reef is a massive limestone formation which is built up by millions of little tiny creatures called polyps, which are related to the jellyfish family. I'm Nicholas Nuttall. I founded BREEF, the Bahamas Reef Environment Educational Foundation. People talk about the coral reefs as being the rainforests of the ocean, like a huge bank of trees with all sorts of things living in and off them. Coral reefs are abundant in the Bahamas, or were, up until a few years ago. We have the third longest coral reef in the world.
In the past 20 years, a lot of the coral reef have died.
The coral reefs are endangered because some people throw trash, chemicals, oil, gasoline in the water.
Makes me feel bad because the Bahamas depends on the coral reefs for our tourism.
The danger the coral reefs are in, I'm afraid, comes from humans. Overfishing is the most immediate cause, and then the global warming, which is caused by excess use of energy, which makes the water warmer, and it's a stress which the coral can't stand. A healthy piece of coral has a dimpled look on it. The colors are either blue or various sorts of orange and yellow. The dead coral is white or brownish and usually covered in weed. It's not a pretty sight.
If you look at the reef now compared to what it was in 1973, it's a vast difference. My name is Peter Douglas. I'm a dive master here at Small Hope Bay Lodge. In some places, it looks like a war zone. And, you know, we're just sitting here praying, my God, how long can something as delicate as this take this kind of shock? And this has not only happened here, but it's happened globally. Places like the Maldives are like gone, Florida Keys, gone. And we're just sitting here, what can we do to educate and help our young people save this for the next generations?
Now you look out there, eh? You notice how nice and white that water goes out, and then you see the dark areas? The dark areas, turtle grass, and the brown areas, the algae. Now slow down, now you're on these rocks, and there's a lot of living stuff on the rock. You don't want to crush all the little snails.
But what can we do is start by just cleaning up our environment, being sensitive to what we are using, where we're putting it. You know, the planet might be 2/3 water, but that doesn't mean it's a big place to dump.
At our school, we clean up the mangroves and the coral reefs, and we pick up all the dirty trash and all the bottles and other garbages there. It helps the baby fishes to live their life.
The swampy wetlands and mangroves are places where people are inclined to go dumping garbage. The kids and the grown-ups are joining in at about 60 different sites which are being cleaned and restored. They can turn this thing around. It can recover. It could be brought round.
once we go in, we're gonna swim as a group. Ready? Are you excited?
This is not only a Bahamian problem or an Andro